Greetings, humans. I'm Andy, and I'm George, and this is Couscous, and welcome back to the Windmill full of corpses. I have one word for you. No, bros! Bros, yes, bros. And the bros have one word for us. What's the word? This is bros. Is the word bros. That would be a great word. I want the word bros. Okay, here's what I want to say. We've had a bunch of Persefone reactions in the past, and if you've seen them, you know that we are absolute fanboys of this band, and that you should too. They have a new EP coming out early next year. It's called Lingua Ignota, which means something in a language. And I really should have done my homework on what that means. The thumbnail to the video looked like if you took a photo of Carlos while he's running as fast as he usually plays. You mean it was blurry? Yes, it was very blurry. And they were also saying in their announcement of the song something like they wanted to be more refined about it and make sure that everything has its place and nothing is unnecessary in the music. And I'm slightly conflicted about that because I love all the unnecessary rhythm fuck-ups they used to do. Okay, so I think I know what's happening with that thumbnail. Okay. The song isn't gonna run as much, which is why Carlos just started running. Huh. Yeah, like the fingers can't move, so he's just gonna be whizzing around. I don't know about that. I feel like he doesn't take care of his physical health that much. You can tell we love a band when we've disrespected them like 8 times in a minute, so we should probably shut up and go. But I am so excited about this one. Are you ready? No! Oh, yes! Oh, yeah! Ooh. This is where the circle pit starts. Bro, where are you? I wanted to stop it like twice because I knew too many things were gonna be thrown at me for me to be able to gather my thoughts correctly afterwards, but it was flowing so well.
No, you don't stop this.
No.
It is unstoppable.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Wow. They did change it up.
They really did change it up. Okay, so couple of things to say first. This is the first studio release they're putting out with Danny, the new vocalist. And I have thoughts on that, but then I also have thoughts on the instrumental, and I'm kind of trying to put them in order. I'm gonna go back to the beginning of the song. The intro riff has that perfect balance of being trippy, you know, with the way they mess up rhythms, but also have an immediate grip. Mm-hmm. Like not that many of their riffs have, like for example the outro riff to Living Waves, mm-hmm. or the outro riff to Kusanagi. Mm-hmm. Like those are very gripping, headbangable riffs, even though they are trippy, even the first time you hear them, right? Yeah. So for a band that always just wants to be trippy, you don't have that many things that are so catchy the first time. That riff was perfect for that. Like it just gets you invested in the song straight away.
Yeah. And I think the cool thing about having a riff that's headbangable and catchy, but kind of throws you off, is that it's both infectious and interesting. Mm-hmm. So it stimulates you both mentally and emotionally at the same time.
Yes.
It gets you to like it, but it also gets you curious. Mm-hmm. And I always get this when I'm listening to Persefone. It's like I'm trying to figure out what's happening. Mm-hmm. And that's really exciting because it means that I can keep going back to the song and finding new things and gathering information and gathering knowledge of rhythmic numbers.
Gathering information? What are you, a bloody prog metal detective?
I am an AI.
No, you're not an AI. You're not artificial intelligence, you're human stupidity. Let's go on. Carlos is playing an explorer. I'm gonna bet it's a Jackson, because I think he got endorsed by Jackson.
Yeah, it's because they're exploring different territory.
They are exploring different territory, yes. That's very accurate. Sound production is like, it's similar to where Metanoia was, but I feel like it's a bit more ambient.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't really lose any of the punch, but it feels more hazy and entrancing in a sense.
And I think that's also coming a lot from the way the vocals are mixed in. Like, they're a little bit blurry.
Yeah.
Especially the cleans too. Like, you can't hear clearly what he's saying. And I know that's annoying to some vocalists, but I'm not a vocalist, so it's not annoying to me. And my opinion is what matters. Go look up lyrics. Yes. Go look up lyrics. Don't be lazy. If you can't understand what a band is saying right off the bat, it's because their message is important enough to only be found by those invested enough to put some effort into it.
Yes.
So do that.
And if you can't read the band's logo, then you have to make the effort and read the band's logo first, so then you can Google the band and then you can Google the songs.
Yes.
And that's worthwhile.
You can hear the bass very clearly.
Mm-hmm.
It's, from what I've heard, just going along with the guitars.
Yeah.
Which is what Tony would do, because Tony's lazy, because that's what the leader of a band does, and everyone knows Tony's in charge. Sorry, Bobby, I didn't get to focus on the drums that much. All the other guys stole the attention. They were good! I'll have to come back. Do you have any thoughts on the drums?
The drums are more playable.
Yes.
They're more coherent, they're more fluent.
Yes.
They don't stop and start at the worst moment possible all the time.
Okay, yeah. So in hindsight, I feel like this is the kind of song that Bobby would not say, I really don't want to play this live to.
Yeah.
I won't play the song live.
So it's got a flow to the rhythm
Yeah.
as well, and that's actually coming a lot from the drums too. And then vocals. Danny. Like, the way I see it, the sort of animalistic edge that Mark had is kinda still there, but it's like, okay, to me he sounds kinda like a hybrid between what Mark used to sound like and Joe Duplantier from Gojira. Like, he has that sort of in-between sort of growl that has like some, almost like, I don't think it has a melody in it, but it sounds a bit more human, right?
I was trying to figure out who he reminded me of, because right off the bat he was reminding me of something, and
Yes.
Joe is a good comparison.
Yes.
But I don't think it's it. And I don't know what it is. Ever since the scream started, I was like, okay, this sounds like something I know. And I got that feeling like the first time he started screaming. And now it's a few minutes since the song is over and I still can't tell exactly what he was reminding me of.
The reason it sounds like something you know is because it's Persefone.
I'm talking about the vocal tone specifically.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It also might just be that he reminds me of himself because I've seen him live.
One more thing I noticed that I really liked, and I was trying to remember whether I've ever seen them do that before, and I can't remember anything off the top of my head, is having screams and cleans at the same time, doing the same thing.
Okay, so the vocal layering was really interesting. I think it was what caught my attention the most about this song, is that most cleans are all clean.
Yes.
And then Danny will kind of go everywhere on the spectrum between full clean and full scream.
Yes.
Like, he plays with different levels of grit.
Yes.
And I think at some point he was screaming and Mo was singing, and at other times they were both singing, but Danny was doing more of like the gritty voice. And Mo was doing all the clean, majestic, ambiental stuff.
Yes.
And that clash of textures is so good. It's so powerful, because when you have the grit, it gives the impact. And then when you have the really clear thing, it sounds like it's expanding. And then this one is both. It's like an explosion.
It's not like an explosion. It is an explosion.
Yeah, but it's so bright and enlightening. It's a supernova. There's so much light.
There is a lot of light.
There's so much light that you can't see the people anymore.
Okay, also, I had an idea about that too. There was this one part where I felt like the vocals were kind of fading into the mix.
Yeah.
Like, it's almost like somebody's saying something while they're going further away in the distance. And at the same time, the image was getting increasingly white. And then I was like, where are you? Because I couldn't see them. And then I noticed kind of the vocals were doing that too. Maybe that's just me, but I got that impression.
Okay.
If that's just me, let me know.
So the production tricks on Persephone's sound are crazy.
Yes.
With fade-ins and fade-outs. Because they will fade in and fade out their own instruments. They will fade in and fade out their own voices, or just like bring them forward or leave them more in the background. And they'll alternate that a lot, which is really interesting. But on top of that, they just have these actual production effects. Like, for example, when there's a snare and you have this effect of like, that's like a build up to the snare. The first time I noticed that was when they put out Prison Skin. This song was filled to the brim with that sort of production effects. So that also makes it hazy and makes everything kind of blend together, because the instruments are at different levels in the mix, and then they'll just expand or compress them or bring different effects in that sort of link them together. So the band feels like it's always coming at you as a whole. It's really interesting. I noticed this with
melodies as well. When you have a riff that's planting, or the drums go on a really infectious groove or something like that, and you feel like everything goes rhythmic. At the same time, you have the astral keyboard sound hitting, and so it's this expansion in both directions, and this whole song just felt like expansion. So really like that. And also on the progressive element, I'm gonna get back into the songwriting a bit. What I think they did is they're still screwing it up. And they're screwing it up in the same way. But I'm not sure screwing it up is the technical term you're going for. But I get your direction. Yes. So they take the rhythm, they see it's orderly, and they decide that's a problem and they screw it up. But they don't all do it at once. One of them will do it at a certain time. You'll have the drums go off beat, or do one of those syncopated stops or something like that. Or you'll have the riffs starting to trip and fall down a staircase. Or you'll have a guitar lead just spring in, but it's like one instrument here and there that's doing it. That's like, we're still here, we're still here, we're still here, but the whole sound is not just Persefone being nerds. It's Persefone trying to make music for people, which is new, and it's weird. Why? Because the music Persefone made so far wasn't for people? Yeah, and we're not people! That's why we got into it! So, this is both satisfying and frustrating at the same time. It's frustrating because repetition exists, and that's a problem. but it's satisfying. Oh, I actually like that. Like, you can grasp the chorus on the first listen, you catch it the first time, you know when it comes the second time. I think it was only twice. Yeah, also the main riff. But it's a clear chorus in a very progressive, trippy song. Yeah. That's always a tricky thing for bands who play really messed up stuff to try to do. And I want to say one more thing. Mo, with a powerful stance and the baggy jeans, he looks the most badass, and it's rare that the keyboardist is the most badass looking person in the band, and that's also an indication that the band is a bunch of pussies. You didn't look at Bobby, did you? He was too blurred out. You couldn't see his face. That's the most badass thing anyone can pull off. You couldn't see anyone's face. No, I mean, you couldn't see he has a face. His hair was over it. Oh yeah, fair enough. That's the look I'm going for. Yeah. Cousin it, but wise. Illuminated Dementor all the way. What the hell, bro? Okay, we talked for too long. Guys, we're fanboys, okay? It happens. It's a long video. If you're still here, tell us in the comments that you're still here so that we'll tell you that you're a good boy. Nerds don't get to monologue about the things they nerd out about. Yeah. So we're taking advantage of you. Yes. And, you have to suck up and live with it. Yes. And then, go comment us and boost us in the algorithms. And give us money while you're at it too. And give Persefone money too. Yes. Give us money, but only after you gave Persefone. Okay, so now that we finished psychologically abusing our audience, maybe it's time to end this. Yes. So if you enjoyed this reaction, we really appreciate the likes and shares. And if you want to see more, don't forget to subscribe with bells. Thank you very much for stopping by. We hope you enjoyed your stay, and we'd love to see you back at the Windmill very soon. Of course, yeah.